Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was probably one of the best superhero films ever made. It was mature, creative, and it brought attention to a comic book character that, while popular, hasn't really made as much of an impact as other characters. There's been a lack of iconic storylines for Miles Morales since his creation in Marvel's Ultimate Universe. But Into the Spider-Verse gave him the story that we as an audience craved. And now, years later, we've got the sequel, Across the Spider-Verse. The question that many moviegoers may have is if this film lives up to the first in the series, and does it leave off in a way that makes people excited for the third entry? The short and spoiler free answer is yes, but it's not necessarily as well made as its predecessor. Across the Spider-Verse is a fun, action filled animated film that shows love to the fans of not only the movies but the comics as well. That said, it's not without its issues, but I would still recommend it, especially if you've seen the first movie. Alright, let's get into some spoilers and go over the plot. The movie starts off surprisingly in Gwen's dimension, where she goes over her origin story again, and we spend some time learning about her relationship with her father. After this, she fights a version of Vulture from another universe, and we meet two other characters in this movie, Miguel O'Hara and Jessica Drew. She joins their team, and then we cut to Miles a couple of years later, after the events of the previous film. This is where we meet the new antagonist, Spot, who has the ability to open portals to anywhere he wants, including the multiverse. Miles then meets back up with Gwen, and from there it's revealed that she's hunting the Spot under orders from Miguel. Miles follows her through a portal and ends up joining other spider people in Miguel's universe, where they have all teamed up to battle threats to the multiverse. When Miles learns that his family is under threat and wants to return home to stop the Spot from hurting people, it's revealed that the tragedy he's trying to prevent has to happen, or he risks putting his world at risk. I won't reveal anything further than this because there are a few twists related to Miles, and where he ends up at the end of the film I don't want to spoil for viewers. So with that, I'll launch into my critiques. On the positive side, the film is just as gorgeous as the last, with every world and separate character we see having a unique art style and color palette similar to the previous movie. The dialogue and acting are all on point, with special nods to the actors from Miles and Gwen. Their characters came out perfectly in the way that they were delivered. The emotions all felt real and raw, and the animation follows through with those feelings, presenting the characters as if they were real people with lives and problems. The film was well written and makes a multiverse story palatable for a casual audience, and in a way that makes sense and doesn't bog down the viewers with long monologues or scenes of tech jargon. The movie even goes out of its way to make fun of the science speak present in other movies. But this is where we get into the issues with the movie. While the film is comedic and many times was legitimately funny, some of the jokes do overstay their welcome. The "alright people, let's do this one more time" origin story joke that they used many times in the first film is present again, and it's a little tired and overdone at this point. I really hope that they don't use that joke in the third movie, or if they do, just use it once maybe. The story is good, but not very well paced. It feels like the movie starts twice, and I can't help but feel that a lot of time was taken away from Miles. And it really is kind of supposed to be his story, so. Also, there really isn't an epic finale to the film besides the twist. And even then, it just kind of tapers off and says, hey guys, get ready for the next movie.
Oh, come on!
So it's I don't know, man, could there have been something? It seems to be setting up a split narrative for the next film, and I caution them to tread carefully with things like that. And flat out, there are just way too many characters in this movie. Jessica is a character that really doesn't add anything. If you remove her from the film, nothing really changes. She's just eating up screen time, and her character came across as annoying for the most part. Also, I'm going to say this, I don't like that she's pregnant. I get that me saying that goes against what the critical drinker would refer to as
the message.
But it's irresponsible and dangerous for her to be doing this stuff. And before anyone screams at me in the comments for being sexist, I'm calling out Peter in this movie for bringing his baby to the fight as well. I don't care if they have superpowers. Fighting threats to all of existence is no place for a baby, and you're never going to convince me otherwise. There are just so many characters that I only see an improved picture if we remove a lot of them and focus more screen time on Miles. It is his story, after all. I know I've said that already, but I want to hammer it home. Give us more time with Miles and his interactions with Gwen and Miguel instead of Indian Spider-Man and Jessica Drew and Peter, who's showing off his baby pictures in the movie. Like, these two films were made to give Miles the spotlight, so give it to him. But to wrap things up, Across the Spider-Verse, while slightly flawed, is still a very enjoyable film. I'll probably watch it again, and I do look forward to Beyond the Spider-Verse when it inevitably comes out. Until then, I'm going to give Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse an 8.5 out of 10. Goodbye for now, and remember, stay frosty.